Welcome back to Lilly Code, guys, and welcome back to day 9 of 100 days of code. We are continuing on with our React project, and I'm going to just continue to create this project and code. So I'm going to watch the tutorial and then come in and code a little bit. So the first thing I've just done now this morning, I missed this on the recording, but it's only been a second. So I created an expense list.js class component, or file is the word I was looking for. I created an expenses list.js file, so this is where our logic and our JavaScript is going to go, and then I created a corresponding CSS file where our styling is going to go, and I've just imported our CSS file to style our logic file now. So that's what that import is doing, it's just associating them two files. So now we're going to continue on and just define our actual component here. So we just define a component with a function in React, and then that's fine. So he's after passing in props instead of the open brackets, which just means we want to pass something in, and then we have to just export default. So you always need to export it in order to use it somewhere else. So that's why we're adding this here now, and we just give the name. And that's it. Just watching the video here. I like to drink lemon juice in the morning, and this is like such a small mug, it's actually really bitter. I normally drink it in a bigger cup, so sorry if my face is like lemon face. If you're wondering what's going on. Just add some more water perhaps. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so what he has done is he's extracting out this fallback content. So how am I missing a curly bracket there? So he's taken this anyway, and he's moved this into that other file. So just to clean this up slightly, so we have some of the logic happening in here. Okay, so we've moved this in here, the logic that we did yesterday, in order to conditionally show either an expense or this particular paragraph tag saying no expenses available if there was no expenses available. So here we're either defining expenses content as this particular paragraph just off the bat, and then if there's any more than one filtered expenses, we rewrite this variable to contain the mapped item, so each one of the items of the expense item. So either it's going to be a list of expense items, throwing out the exact component of expense item, filling in this details for it because we're mapping over each item in the list, or else it's going to just be left at nothing. So if there is no filtered expenses dot length greater than 0, or basically there's nothing there, if the length is not greater than 0, so it is equal to 0, then expenses content won't be rewrote, it won't be changed the value of, because here we change the value of it if we have more than one, and this will show. So that's what's going on there. Okay, so we don't have filtered expenses now because they're just not on this page. What we have is just the props coming in. So I'm just fixing the footstool. So it's going to be props.items dot length, and then also down where we're calling expense, it's not expense anymore, it's prop.items, or down here, sorry, filtered expenses, we can still call an individual. This is just what we call one instance of each of the props.items, so we can still call that an expense. It is an expense, so we'll keep that there. Yeah, so we don't have this variable anymore in here doing anything. What we have done is put all this logic into our expenses list. So we call that in instead. There. So because we use the expenses list down here, we've just imported it as well, and we want to send over the data that we want to use. So that's going to be equal to filtered items. So that's what we want to send in as the items. Filtered expenses, sorry. And then, so then in our expenses list, our filtered items coming through is being used as our items. Yes. And also in here we need to actually return something. So we're going to return an unordered list. Okay, so we want to put this into our return statement. Excuse me, sorry. So we want to put this into our return statement instead. So, like that. And I still need these. I could have just added them in, but I'm just going to take them from here. This is what we want to return. And then we're going to do something slightly different with this if. Okay, Max, come on. Give me the answer. Equals. Okay, so if we have a particular component where we'd like to replace the entire content of the component, if perhaps we don't have something or based on some condition, this is how we can do it. So here we've said if the prop_item.length is equal to 0, it's going to return this whole other block of code. So we can have two return statements here, and then in the other case it will return the expenses list. So that's what's going on there. Okay. So what did he wrap in a card there? Well, I think it was the filter, but I think I'm guessing. So could have been anything. So I'm just waiting for this to load. Yesterday you got some songs out of me. I quite like making up songs, so stay around for some more songs. No. Oh, more hyper in the evening than in the morning. I'm actually so surprised. I'm even holding a conversation, but I guess when it's with yourself and there's no one to talk back, it's easier in the morning. Oh, generally I'm not a morning person, but I feel so morningy. Well, I always wake up early and study, but you know, I wouldn't be talking. Certainly wouldn't be speaking. So it's quite an achievement for me. Okay, this is just taking forever here. And I don't know why that's gone grey, because so I think this should be up on this line. Yeah. Okay, great. And you know, I need a JSX formatter because this just isn't doing it for me. So if you see here the way I was moving things in and out, and why is this even on spaces for? So the way I was moving things in and out there and trying to get things to be indented properly, that should all be taken care of. I have looked for an indenter and I haven't found one. So while this is loading, actually this is the perfect time to do this. And I normally indent using tabs. And let's just save that. And I thought it was tabs 2. Like, let me just check what the standard is. That said tabs 4 was the, and honestly tabs 2, it's harder to see a bit. I like tabs 2. I think for the purposes of the video, we'll do indent using tabs and 4, because you can see very clearly where the indentation is, as opposed to 2 where it's just half that size, so it's harder to see that full step of where we're going. And then I need a JSX formatter, so why I haven't been able to get one yet. Formatter. Do I just need to set my prettier to use auto detect? You're not doing a great job of it there, prettier, because you ain't been formatting my code. So I don't know where the auto format is going there. JSX, let me just Google JSX formatter, Visual Studio Code for React. I've got the whole lot in there because I haven't been able to find one yet. So yeah, so I did find that. Automatically format code. I'm working with JavaScript and React. Okay. And prettier. Yes, so I can use prettier. And I just need to change that bottom bit, I think. Do I have format on save turned off? So let's just check here. So we will do Control-Shift-P. And then we go to Preferences, Open User Settings. So Preferences. Open User Settings. And now we want to unsave. Format unsave, okay. So format on save. So it should be formatting on save. So let's just keep checking. That's it, congratulations, you have configured prettier. Save your code looks like this. If you save, it should do this. Yeah, why is it not doing that? Alright, I get all the examples, sir. I want to know why mine isn't working. Right, let's find this file. I'm not sure. Yeah, didn't think that would work, but what about if I put it up here? I mean, it would be really nice to get this done. Thanks, Yogesh. Check out Yogesh's article. So, you know, it's so great. It's I wanted to put up articles for a long time, and I just have a lot of respect for people that bite the bullet and get their stuff out there, because it's not an easy decision to make, and you to be ditter-doddering around with the idea for a long time before you actually make that move. So don't be afraid, get yourself out there. Just don't be afraid and get yourself out there. Who cares what people think? Honestly, it's for you. So, well, I do, like, I want to help you guys. I care what you think in that aspect. I want to be as of good assistance as I can. But if you're struggling to wonder whether or not you should take the jump to put yourself out there, then don't care what people think. So and just do it for you, you know, and probably with a vision in mind to try and help people in some way, because that's what will give you your internal and intrinsic motivation to actually get up and do this thing. So, and make a commitment like the 100 days of code, so that it makes it easier to just stay on the ball. So that's all, few tidbits of advice. So this is still loading here. It's only 8 o'clock, so we're doing all right. We're doing all right, baby, baby. There's a song, we got a song. Like, I mean, I never said I was a good singer. I just like to sing. So, okay, so we're back in action. We still haven't got anything saved properly, but he's speaking again, so. Okay. Okay, so in the expenses item component, he has changed from this main view just of a card, and now we're throwing these out as list items because there's a few of them coming out, so he wants them to be put into a list as they do come out. So let's just do that, and let's see if this format's on save. I should be hopeful. No is the answer. So oh my heart, I got so excited there. So just to give it a whirl. So let's go back to the user settings and just go to prettier and make sure prettier format on save is selected. So enable, yes. Okay, so oh cool, yeah, do that for me, please. Please do add a semicolon at the end of do I not have prettier installed? How could that be possible? JavaScript formatter. So prettier and standard, prettier and semi-standard. So what's this about? Use prettier ESLint instead of prettier. Okay. Well, actually, let's try this because prettier ESLint is good with me. Okay, cool. Prettier ESLint is good with me, so I'm actually going to try this one and just see, because it'd be great if my formatter formatted. Now obviously it's a setting or something that I haven't considered, because you know a computer can only do what you tell it to do. I remember when I started coding, and if things wouldn't go right, I'd be like, the computer is not doing it. But no, I just didn't tell it, so it's never the computer's fault. It's always yours. So we'll just go back here and on my own, I should say, and save this, and that's still not saving. Right, don't know. Have lost interest now. Just that I want to continue, you know, and not spend so much time formatting. I will have to figure this out, so I will do. In my own time. Or maybe on the videos, because, you know, again, you guys will have these same issues. But for now, we'll just continue. Oh, nice. Okay. So we're going to show and hide. So in expenses list.js, line 14, expenses item is not defined. So do we have expenses item declared? No, we don't. So we need to import expenses item to tell it can actually use this here. So we're going to do expenses item. So let's continue. So what we want to do is conditionally show this area. So we want to add an expense or just take away this block altogether if we hit cancel. So we want to conditionally show it like we did for this particular area. So we're going to do the same thing now. And in order to do that, the first thing we're going to do is add a button which will cancel this area for us. Which will add a new expense and then subsequently another one to cancel. So we'll just add a button and go, why did that not? Visual Studio, what have I done? So we'll just do that and add new expense. I should really perfect some other accents. I'd say if anybody English hears this, they'll just be thinking, terrible accent. I'm sorry, I was born in England, so I feel like that's okay to be messing. Sure, you can mess anyway. We all need a bit of messing, you know, even if I'm self-admittedly crap at the accent. Oh man. So no expense. We want to use state. So
we will do that. I'll stick my CSS at the bottom and keep my imports at the top for cleanliness. So we're going to import useState from React, and this is what allows us to track the state of a particular object on the page. So it's very handy, used a lot in React when you want to look at dynamic things and changing them after the component has been loaded. So we're going to pull that in, and then we're going to use it here. So then we will use state, we get our parentheses and our semicolon, and we will just indent that there, and okay. Okay, so we've declared our isEditing state here, which is initially set to false. So that's all good in the hood. And now what we want to do is create a function here. And with our function, we want to allow us to switch this to true. So start editing function or handler. So once we start editing, we want to change that to true. Come on, equals. Sorry, don't know how I crack myself up so much, like clearly hilarious, I should say. Okay, so set is editing. Set is editing. Yes, is set. Okay, so I did that wrong. So is set. Set is editing. So set, are we editing or not? Shisharonio. So, and then we'll set this to true. And stick this here. So this handler now, when we come in and we fire this, it's going to change that, change our isEditing variable to true from false. So just so we can keep track of that. So it's going to be on click of this button that's flipped over from false to true. So start editing handler. Okay, so what we've done here is, first of all, we do not have the card on this particular item. So I'll just get rid of it, or at least Max doesn't, and then I will move this back one, just so it's in line, and my formatter does not work at the moment. So then we also need to, so I'm just formatting it myself, it's no biggie. Then we're going to open up our curly bracket here, and if it's not in editing mode, then we want to display this particular block of code, and we just need to close this off. So there we go. And okay. So if it's false, we show the button. If it's true, we show the form. So let's see now how that goes. Ooh, so it worked. Okay, great. So here we have our add new expense, and when we click it, we can add a new expense. So that's great. And then we also want a cancel button, so that when we click the cancel button, we can go back then. So these buttons just need something, don't they? They really do. So I'm going to just like define some button here. So all of that was just standard React, the CSS that comes with React when we first started it. I had just never removed it from the app.js folder, so I can get rid of all that. That was all the boilerplate or the template CSS, so we'll just get rid of it. And I'm going to make some padding on the button, let's say 20 pixels. I'll make some margin too of 10 pixels. I will, so let's just have a look at that. Bit too big on the padding there, so we'll go with 10 as well. Okay, and then I'll make it purple because I like purple, so let's go with blue violet. Should it just be colour? Must be, because nothing changed. The colour is the font though. Okay, so let's try background colour again, because I'm sure that's how you change the colour of a button. It is. Background. I was talking yesterday about don't doubt yourself. There we go. Don't doubt yourself, guys. Trust your first instincts. They're generally correct. And I'm always doing it. Well, no. I'm never doing it. I trust my instinct. I get better and better every day at trusting my instincts and believing the first thought that comes into my mind, because it's always friggin' right. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're coding. Generally your first instinct is normally right, for me anyway. So then we're going to do font size and make it larger. Okay, so there we go. That button's slightly better. It's not mad on this colour, to be honest, so let's go with a what colour button should we have today? What colour button should we have? Okay, so that's enough singing, and that's grand. Right, let's just move on. We don't need to be making the best button in the world, we just need to be able to click it. So seeing as no one is ever going to use this expense tracker, well, I might, who knows, have a few expenses that need tracking. So let's just keep going. Okay. So in here we add our cancel button. Okay, so we add a stop editing handler function over here. Just get rid of that and this now. So we have a stop. I'm just going to copy this because it's going to be very similar, and we're just going to make this stop editing handler, and we'll say, yeah, and then this is just going to set this to false, and that's what we're going to pass through. Okay, so we actually need to pass that down the chain so it knows how to access that method. So on cancel, we pass it through here where we're getting our expense form. We say on cancel, yeah, and that's going to be equal to our stop editing handler. Did I just see some formatting happen? I did, didn't I? It's because I haven't been using the correct. We'll have to come back to that because it's just not pressing. So expense form. Stop editing handler. Okay. And then in our expense form, I don't think we have this here. Okay, so yes, we set this type to button because this isn't submitting the form, this is a button. So we need to change the type of that one and add the on-click handler. Cancel. Yeah. Okay, so then we say props on cancel because yes, we want to access that. Okay. So in the save expense data handler in our new expense.js, in here we also want to set this, set is editing, yeah, to false. Let's see. Yay! So that's great, that's working. So let's go to our terminal and I'm just going to actually commit my code because why not? We've made some progress. This is how you should generally do your commits. Right, so I'm not sure why that's telling me I can't find that folder, but what we'll do is we'll just do dir to see what is in here and then cd my app. I see it right there, so okay, and then I'm going to just do git add and add everything, dot adds everything all together. So then if we do git status, we'll see that we have added all of our new files and edited files. So these are the files that we have changed. So they're the changes that we want to commit. So now I'm going to go git commit and give it a message so we know what the message is. So if something happens further down the line, we can roll back to this particular place and time. So this is chapter 5. We're on day 9, isn't it? And chapter 5, and we're looking at conditional content. Conditional content. And I'm going to just git push. What I do tend to do on my own projects when I'm doing it myself is I'll commit the exact chapter, the exact place, and if it was in the middle of a long video, I'll say like video X, so in this case it was conditional content, but then I'd have 4 minutes 3 seconds, so 4M 3S if I didn't get the whole way through the video. so you know exactly where you're coming back to, and you're not flipping back and forth throughout the video thinking, did I see this, didn't I see this? Which is why doing it every single day is so valuable as well, because you don't tend to forget where you've come from. So it's very helpful. So just to stick that in there, and we'll keep going. I've already told you guys to stretch while you're at your desk. It's important. I need to do it anyway. And look out your window sometimes, you know, and just get the movement in. You can't be sitting here still all day long. So if you gotta move, move, okay? Great. Cool. So I just realised we're flying it. Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. Daily commitment, guys. Just doing it every day and you will fly it. I just realised that I'd already tried to do this course when I first started my job. So this is tightly linked to my new job and the new skills I have to learn. And I really want to complete this course so I just understand the mechanisms of React a little bit deeper. And I'd made a decision to do this during work. We were allowed to do that, to spend some time training ourselves as well as doing our work. Fantastic company. We'll be probably talking about that again in detail, but that's not the focus of this channel per se. Although if you just want to hear about it, I'll spill the beans. So, oh no, I'm only messing. There's no beans to spill. It's fabulous. But I'll tell you all about how fabulous it is. But yeah, so I had started this already and I wasn't finding the time to do it every day because work just sort of seemed to be more pressing and more important. So I wanted to get my actual tasks done more than, not more, but I just wasn't managing my time properly really. Like I'd set aside an hour and then I was like, no, I don't feel like I can do that. And I only set aside an hour quite late into the game after reading a colleague of mine's article where he said that he got advice to block out his calendar, and I thought that's a great idea. I'm going to stick in an hour of studying here and there so I can actually progress with this React course. And it just wasn't really happening, and I wanted to do it anyway, and I want to code myself externally anyway outside of work. So that's where I came up with the 100 days of code idea and said I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to do this course and I'm going to do it in my own time, because then there's no pressure to, you know, do it during the day if I'm having a busy day, or if I feel like, well, I prefer to get this ticket done, but then I can just do that. I can focus on the things that I feel are like, just during the day I felt like they were more pressing and more important. So now I can relax and do those things with ease and just like do all my studying then outside of work, and that just suits me better because, you know, I'd be doing this anyway, so having the structure is just great for me. But I've just realised that by committing to every day and doing it every day, I have not seen this component yet whatsoever. And I hadn't actually done this bit either, the switching over. So that's why I was really excited to see that, because that was new. And now also the next part, I haven't done this. So I had seen some of the other bits. I've got through some of this course. We're now on 10% or something, or 9% of the course has been completed. So this is as far as I got originally. So I'm delighted now. We're making headway, and we've already been making headway. We're flying it, lads. So I'm feeling good about this. We'll have this done well before. Well, no, I'll say it out loud. We'll have this done well before the 100 days, and we'll be moving on to more exciting things beforehand. But it's hard to predict these things, so I was sort of biting my tongue there. But look, sure, if we don't, we don't. And I'm going to predict that we will, just to stick that out in the air, you know. Tell the old brain, subconscious brain, let's get this done. So we will just add in our files here. we want a chart JS and a chart CSS. So this is the bit I was telling you about. I definitely haven't seen this before. New file. That's CSS. And guys, it's been 50 minutes today, but I was pausing the video. I had some some problems along the way, so I actually want to call it a day there and just go down and make a cup of coffee and chill before I start work for 10-15 minutes. So I have to cut off now in order to do that. So I will continue to follow up with this tomorrow, and I'll post this video later on today, and you'll be seeing me every day for another 91 days. So yeah, hope you're not sick of me yet. Have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for joining me here on my channel, Lilly Code, where we go through React and all things coding. So thanks guys, have a lovely day, bye.